Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome. Hi, Liesel. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you? Sorry, I'm
Okay,
a
good.
I'm a
Okay.
little slow here.
That's all right. It's always, I have to remember which button to push to turn my volume on and off in most of the time when I'm in these things. So
Yeah, it's good to see you, Laura, like face to face.
it's good to see you as well. And
Let me
email
just,
back and forth.
yeah, yep,
There's
yep, yep.
Chelsea.
Chelsea's here too.
Yay. Hi, Chelsea. All
Hi
right.
there,
Hi.
how are you guys?
Good. How are you? Welcome.
Good.
Welcome. We're just letting everybody in right now, so
Great.
give us a few minutes to get everybody in. Um, this is the amazing group that shows up a little on time, a little early. Not like the rest of our congregation here in Florida, that it seems like they believe that church starts solidly 20 to 25
Mhm.
minutes after it's supposed to. So we watch our counts and we'll be like, oh, there's 400 people here. Okay, that's good. And then yeah, 20 minutes later, we've got 800 in the room, and they all come in that first 20 minutes.
Is
So
that the fashionably late statement?
yeah, those are just the people who I think they either don't are not big fans of worship music. Or they got stuck in traffic. It is Tampa area, so the traffic here can be a little bit crazy. If you arrive there's a fine line between arriving just in time to be on time, or arriving just a couple minutes late and now you're parked at the other end of the parking lot and it's going to take you 5 minutes to walk to the door. So you got to get in. You got to get in early. So
That's
We have a
funny.
group that skips the music too.
well, yeah. We have a whole group that's like, the music's too loud. I don't like the music. I don't need the music. So how are you doing today, Patrick?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I
You're
am.
looking good. I like the blurriness around you.
Oh,
I don't
thanks.
have
Well,
that. I just have my junk office. So.
well, my office is a hot mess right now. It's
Yeah.
so bad. I people keep sending me new things, samples and stuff, and I'm like, it is packed with crud.
Well, it looks good for us.
I am not a big fan of that look, so it's driving me a little crazy. So-
Well, this way here, people can see that I actually do stuff.
Well, last week I had planned a week, it was spring break here, and it's unusual for the three counties that we're in to all be on spring break at the same time. They normally are on different weeks. They do that purposely so that the various, between Disney and Busch Gardens and all of those child-centric areas here, they don't get all swamped with everybody all at once. But for whatever reason, this year they were all on the exact same week. So that actually took out probably 3/4 of our staff last week as well. So I was like, yay, I've got a week where I can focus. I can spend some time cleaning my office and getting caught up on a few things. And then we had a major plumbing issue.
No, no.
and that and that took our attention the entire week long. So I got nothing done. So, except for learned a lot about our septic system here, our sewer system.
That's probably not a good thing.
Well, it's good now. It's good that I
Well,
know
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It is good that we know it now.
You
So,
should have called me. I would have came down and helped you.
oh, that would have been fun. So Brad, who's on the line here too. He was over at the CP training. So he normally would have been managing the team that was working on that, but he was conveniently in Texas last week. So, hi Chris, how's it going? Good,
Very well.
awesome.
We're doing well.
Good. Hi Vicky. Hi Jim. I can see everybody. Not everybody's on my screen. So if I don't say hi to you, it's not because we don't see you. Hi, James. I see his hat, so I know he's here. And Jeff?
What's happening, Lara?
Not too much. How are you, sir?
I tell you what, if I got any better, somebody be invoicing me a payment.
They're gonna anyway.
Yeah. And Leaf is there. I know that he's offline at the moment, but he's hanging out with us also. All righty. Well, we'll get started. I want to be respectful of everybody's time here. So we're going to start with a word of prayer. And here we go. Mr. Chris Barron, would you be I love it. Would you please, my friend, open us in a word of prayer? Oh, you're muted, so.
I'm not even, let's go to the Lord in prayer.
Thank you.
All right, Father, we thank you for a chance to take a breath, and we ask that this time our fellowship as believers and as those who want to do servant work, Lord, glorifies you as we do that hard work together. And Lord, we pray for those who are struggling now or in tough times, as we've seen some storms go through, and as we've seen prayer requests on our forum. Father, we pray for those. Lord, be with us now. We ask this in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Well, everyone, thanks for being here today. Happy to have you. And what we have, taking some information, some feedback that we received from surveys and things like that, what we wanted to try to do in these roundtables as we move forward is try to make them maybe a little bit, they're valuable, but if we can give some specific information that might be something that people are looking for, some specific data on, some specific training and education on, we want to be able to do that. So we're trying this out. We'd love to get feedback after it's done on how you feel about it. If there are specific topics that you would like us to highlight in future roundtables, we want to be able to do that. So that's kind of where that is what we're starting with today. So today we decided we had a bunch of people, and I don't know about how you are with your campuses at the moment, but coming into Easter, we've had an awful lot of feedback from our campuses about our chairs. Our chairs go through so much, and some of our campuses are significantly older than other ones, and cleaning them can be a challenge. I know we've talked about what it looks like when wax after Christmas services or Christmas Eve services, if you have candle lighting ceremonies, what that experience is like. And so we decided that this month we would focus on soft seating or whatever kind of seating that we have cleaning. And we have both Liesel and Chelsea with us today from Solder Worship. Chelsea is going to give us a little bit of a presentation, but Liesel is a member here, one of our business members at NACFM. So I want to make sure that we highlight them. And I know that several of you use seating that you purchased through them. They're a great resource. But in that process, we wanted to get some feedback from the experts on how best to take care of our existing soft seating and how to take advantage of taking care of that resource for a time to come. So Chelsea, moving in some of my stuff, she's gonna talk for a little while. We're gonna have a Q&A, and then we'll go to our regular Q&A session. So this won't take up the entire time. This is just gonna start us out, but we're really grateful. She is I have to go through and read all this. She's a sales operations manager, and we're really excited to have her here today. So Chelsea, take it away.
Excellent. I'm gonna share my screen if that's okay. I think I had just requested it for you.
Erin will give you permission.
Okay, perfect. All right. Presentation. Okay. So you should be able to see my screen. Yay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just kind of take you through. This is a very kind of vague overview of how to clean your worship furniture. And I kind of separated it into a few categories. So first thing, when it comes to cleaning your furniture, is there's two avenues. Cleaning and disinfecting are two different things. So cleaning is just kind of the removal of the dirt, the germs, cleaning it, freshening it up. And disinfecting came a lot more to the forefront of things when the pandemic hit. Disinfecting uses chemicals to kill germs on the surfaces. And you can also use a little bit of like Murphy's oil to kind of brighten up older furniture. If kind of the gloss and the shine is gone, you can use a little bit of that just on a rag to take over through that. When it comes to wood pews and benches, cleaning, what we recommend is just a damp cloth with a soap mixture, maybe 2 or 3 dots of like Dawn dish soap or something like that similar. Just in a and just kind of take it across your furniture. Don't let it be too thick of that water mixture. Just let it air dry. If you do need to disinfect, we do recommend a Clorox disinfecting wipe. And then I have the actual EPA number on there. That one is less harmful to your furniture. Using alcohol-based hand sanitizers or cleaners will have an adverse effect on your furnishings if you have a catalyzed varnish finish or a formaldehyde-free base. Souter, we use a polyurethane base, and the cleaners in the hand sanitizers and the alcohol-based cleaners, they do not have an effect on those. But our polyurethane has only been out on our furniture for about 7 years. So anything pre 7 years is still going to have an adverse effect. But any type of varnish that's out there, just kind of be cautious of look at the active ingredients in the cleaners to make sure that it's not going to have any adverse effect on that. So it's very similar when you kind of switch to like an auditorium style seat. Any type of wood or plastic, you're still going to want to use that soap mixture for the cleaning. If you do have issues on the fabric that you need to steam clean, and this could be for upholstered pews as well, you can steam clean them, but make sure that everything is thoroughly dried through, because if that foam is not dried all the way through underneath that fabric, that foam is just going to deteriorate a lot quicker. Your foam and your fabric will not last forever. Your wood construction should last a very, very long time. You should have to replace your foam and fabric before you have to replace your pews. So in your fabrics, I would go to the individual fabric mill that your fabrics are from for more specific information. But a more polyester blend fabric, they're going to be more sensitive to the bleach effects. So like a 3% bleach solution, third cup of bleach with a gallon of water is the highest concentration that should be used when cleaning fabrics. We do recommend something like a hydrogen peroxide cleaner disinfectant instead of the bleach mixture. So that will help if you're trying to get stains out of fabrics. I would also check with your like flexible seating that you may have of who your vendor was that provided that furniture. Because if it's a bad enough stain on that, most vendors will have, I know we do a lot of replacement pads. So all of our furniture, the pads can be taken off and you can order a new pad instead of trying to fix the hole in the fabric or anything like that. So we have those options, but I would definitely check with the vendor that provided your furniture in the beginning, because they may have some replacement pad options to make those seating options renewable. This is just a snippet of where our fabrics are from. We do refer to those fabric websites for care and maintenance because we are not a fabric mill. We don't want to be in the business of making fabrics and weeding and threading them all. So we do have really excellent partners that we work with for the fabrics. We also, I didn't put it in this slide, but we do also have a video on our website about removing candle wax. So candle wax can be kind of tricky. There is a candle wax solution that you can order. We don't carry it with just a other partner that we use. And I can get you, Lara, the information for it if you'd like to send it off. It's worked well for us in the past. It is actually in that video that we talk about. But when you have candle wax on fabric, you want to first freeze that wax. So you want to put like an ice pack on it so that so that it becomes hard and brittle. And then you should be able to flake off that fabric with a spoon. You can kind of rub a toothbrush in it, and then you just kind of vacuum off the particles, and the candle wax should come out. If the wax is warm enough that it creates a hole in that fabric, you may need to look into like a replacement pad, or you may need to be able to reach out to your pew vendor. There are a lot of reupholstery services. So we offer a service where we will come rip all the fabric off and put new foam and fabric in the field so that that pew doesn't have to leave its spot. So it doesn't have to be unanchored or anything like that. So. And then I did want to just kind of point out, this is a photo on the left-hand side. This is a photo of a cap rail on the back of a pew that is deteriorated due to cleaners. And it was an old finish of ours back in 2015. And it was hand sanitizer. Eventually, this whole cap rail, the stain on it just kind of diminished, and it ended up just being raw wood because the church had just big gallons of hand sanitizer at the back. They would use that. They'd come in, the hands are still kind of wet. They use that to sit down, pull themselves back up. So over time, that is going to diminish, and then that finish is easily just going to flake right off. So we've now switched to a polyurethane finish, and you can still kind of gouge because wood is wood. You're still going to be able to do that, but your finish is not going to come off. So we've switched to a polyurethane. But your finishes are still going to have adverse effects from your formaldehyde-free finishes and the catalyzed varnish with the alcohol-based cleaners. So, and otherwise, that's all I had. I was told to keep it to about 10 minutes, so it's very nice, short and sweet. And I'm in sales, so sometimes that's a little difficult. So I think I was about 7 minutes, so I have I'm still within my range.
You did fantastic. Thank you so much. So, yes, definitely. We want to ask any questions. So does anybody have any questions for Chelsea?
Well, I've already sent out the candle wax video to my crew. I think we've really tried to shoot from the hip, but we did have a kid try to do a bunch 2 years ago, and he caused a lot of fabric damage not doing that well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we've seen a fair share of those too, but usually if they're just kind of ones or twosy spots, you should be able to kind of freeze it and then just kind of pick it off, and then just use just like a shop vac almost to just pull all those particles back out, and it should work pretty well for you.
Well, thank you for those resources.
Absolutely. So we do have it's not so specific to our furniture, but on our Souter Worship website, if you can click under resources and go to our blog. The easiest thing would be is to go to our website and click the search button and just say cleaning, and you'll have like 5 or 6 different videos, blogs that we've done over the years that you'll be able to kind of pull up and research how do you clean them, if you type in candle, it'll bring all the candle wax information up for you. So
We had somebody who asked the question about how often do you clean your soft seating? So I'll ask our attendees to answer that, because even though I don't believe that person is on with us today, we do record this so that we can send it out to everybody who was registered. But is there a particular recommendation, Chelsea, from you all about how often to clean them?
That's kind of up to the church and how the furniture is being taken care of. A lot of churches and parishes across the country, they will have someone that comes and cleans their pews maybe once a month or once a week, things like that, depending how often the sanctuary is cleaned. It's not going to hurt the furniture as long as you're using like the soap and water mixture, more water than soap. And you don't have all those benches just soaking wet. You just have to be able to let them dry. It's not going to hurt them at all to clean them, once a month. When it comes to the only time we actually put a timeline on something is recommending is when your pews are anchored. We usually let someone in facilities know that either once or twice every year or two, you can go in with just like with a little wrench and just do a quarter turn on that anchor, and it will make sure that all the benches are nice and secure. So that's really the only timeline we have for like furniture maintenance, is making sure that your pews are nice and tight anchored to the floor. So just like a quarter turn, once every year or two would work. But we do have a lot of places that they have someone scheduled to come in and clean their furniture. As long as you're cleaning it appropriately, there's not an over need to clean. So
What
You know,
about
that's
those cute
great.
little girl dresses that have the built-in glitter? You get stuck in the fabric. How do you get that glitter out?
You donate those dresses.
yes. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times if you have upholstered seats and you have like little glitter or you have like a little sequins that gets caught in there, you just kind of need to shimmy that out of there. So this isn't like a very professional recommendation, but I would just kind of like hit that fabric a few times to loosen it up within the fabric, the weave of that. Um, Depending on the weave of that fabric is where you're gonna have more things get caught in them. So something with a tighter weave isn't gonna be able to have something get caught in underneath there because it's a lot tighter. The looser weave things, the things that are more woven are gonna have more susceptibility for that the glitter.
We're going to invent the NACFM seat fly swatter
Okay.
There
with
you go.
attached
Yeah.
vacuum cleaner.
Yep.
That would be great. I realize that you can only speak to this in terms of solder, but in terms of warranties and things like that, are there things that we can actually do when we're maintaining our furniture that void those warranties? What are the things we need to be making sure
Yeah.
we are or aren't doing to stay within those warranty guidelines?
Yep. I believe we have it written in our warranty, and I believe some of the other pew manufacturers have it written in there. When it comes to like finish, we wouldn't replace something if there's been a cleaner, like a very harsh chemical that's been on it. We had a few years ago, they were cleaning there was a church in Florida, I'm not really sure where they were, but they were cleaning the floor with Fabuloso. And then they were cleaning the pews of Fabuloso, and it just kind of stripped all that. And obviously, we couldn't warranty that because that's not one of our recommendations. So anything that's going to be too harsh, um, I would avoid. When the pandemic hit, we actually went through and figured out which Lysol cleaners, which Clorox cleaners would be appropriate to use on our pews, because we were able to test what that polyurethane was going to be able to withstand. Um, not it We had, when that pandemic happened, we had individual customers reaching out to us asking what can we disinfect our pews with, not just cleaning them because of everything going on in the world at the time. So we were able to give different recommendations to different customers based on when their product was made because we had different finishes at the time. So a church that bought pews from us 5 years ago versus 10 years ago, they would have different recommendations. But anything, I would reach out to your vendor and make sure if you are going to start disinfecting it or you're going to use a different cleaner that you get it approved by them. That way it wouldn't void the warranty. But soap and water is not going to hurt the warranty at all, and that will clean your pews. So.
Okay.
Yeah, there's two things of cleaning versus disinfecting. Your disinfecting is where you're going to have to really dive in more to what the active ingredients of that cleaner that you're using versus the cleaning of the pews. You're just trying to get the dirt and grime off and just keep them nice. So,
Fantastic.
Do you have a recommendation on the disinfecting of the soft material, not like the wood and whatnot, but
yeah, the soft material, I mean, you can still use like a soap and water mixture just to clean that fabric, but I don't know what all the fabrics are made of, what kind of backing they have. You could have like a Teflon backing, you could have an acrylic backing. Some of the fabrics now we use from a vendor called Culp. They actually have a cleaning treatment built into the fabric before we even see it. So you can still use that. You can use like a little shop vac, kind of vacuum all that seating off as well. As far as cleaning, I would reach out and look into more of the fabric itself of what that fabric is going to be able to take to be cleaned, because you don't want to steam clean everything and ruin the foam underneath it.
So we should really be going back to the manufacturer of the
Yeah.
furniture to talk about what's a safe and effective disinfectant from their perspective.
Yeah, from the cleaning purpose. Yeah, for the on the fabrics. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Does anybody else have any questions? Any other questions? I think I'm going to tell you, I think we're moving away from black chairs. We've had them forever, but oh my goodness, they're
Yeah,
they're disgusting.
the lighter the finish color, the less you're gonna see the dust.
Yeah.
Yep. The less you're gonna see the dust. So that's where sometimes, just like a little bit of Murphy's oil, just kind of on like a microfiber cloth, just kind of take that over. It'll just kind of really shine things up for that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chelsea. We really appreciate that. Appreciate your
Absolutely.
time today and coming on. You are welcome to stay. You obviously
Okay.
don't have to, but you're welcome to stay. Same with you, Liesl. We appreciate y'all being here. But we'll jump into some of our other questions and answers at this point. So let's see. We have from Jason. Is Jason here? Take a look. I don't think I see him. But Jason asked for the larger churches who are open during the week. So I guess I would just say any church who's open during the week. How have you adjusted your door and lock schedules post-COVID? Any best practices you want to talk about? We are struggling with wanting to keep the building open and inviting, but also keeping our guests safe and secure. How do we find a happy medium? Would anyone like to speak into that?
I would start off, Larry, by saying, do they have a school on campus or not? Because that will determine a huge way you handle the doors. Like for me, I have 2 schools that operate Monday through Friday out of my building that have separate entrances. So we created a policy where an unattended door is a locked door. But that's because of the craziness going on. So we don't want people entering in anywhere. So we have specified entrances for where the church enters, where the 2 schools enter. So, and those are still locked. We just have it on access control where somebody can question and buzz someone in.
Yes, Chris.
Can you clarify why the word COVID was mentioned? I mean, is there something unique to why they said post-COVID?
That's a really great question. He's not here, so I cannot ask why he said post-COVID. So I couldn't answer that.
Yeah, so, the biggest crazy was the whole, what do you call it, active shooter. Everyone's freaking out about that kind of thing, but yet you're trying to be welcoming. And so you're always mitigating risk. You're saying how much risk do I want to take and how much it's one of those charts we use in a lot of training where you have the priority of it, the likeliness of it to occur, the severity if it did occur. So you have this severity versus likelihood chart, and you say, okay, where am I going to put my efforts? And so with like James said, we have a school here as well, and they've continuously trying to get more and more secure. We're adding additional functionality, but you have to badge into that area. The concern for us here lately is that I have started a program of working with community service, and to bring community service on campus while we have a school, the principal of the school is saying, until I can do a background check, I don't want them in the school area. So we have to limit the areas they're allowed to work because we're still trying to do ministry with community service people. And it's a real ministry. I mean, we're reaching out to kids who have gotten in trouble and we're trying to give them opportunities. But the school is saying, well, we still have to have this level of risk. So they're on campus. And here recently we had a situation where a parent saw a child who had been offensive to them. And so we had to really work through that. But so the school is added that extra layer of weekly security for us and changed to what we do. But Sunday mornings has a whole different model.
That makes sense.
All of our doors are scheduled through eSpace, and so doors are scheduled, are assigned to rooms that are closest to them. And so when you schedule a room, that door will open 30 minutes before the meeting and it locks at the end of the meeting. And if you come when the door's not unlocked, we have 2 doors that have a video intercom. They can talk to the receptionist and get buzzed in.
We do something very similar. I still say it drives me, it always worries me that if somebody is sitting out in the parking lot and nobody's noticing it, that they could see, if they're spending time, they could see at those times when those doors are open on a regular basis. And that has me a little concerned, but there's no way to get around it. So,
And we do it a little different from that standpoint. Everything can be buzzed in during the day, but everything during the week, during the day is all locked down. There are 4 main doors that can all be buzzed in, with video and buzzing, but anything after hours where we actually have to unlock doors for programming, whatever, has to have a guard. That's just our policy. So any open door has a guard. And if a guard can't monitor, we have a couple of doors that are close enough that one guard can monitor both of them. But if they can't monitor both, then I got to bring in 2 guards or whatever that might be. So we're in all, I don't know, fairness to everybody, we shy on the side of staying everything locked down. My biggest concern is my own staff. I can't get them to stop. They got to take a trash can to the dumpster. They prop the dang door open.
yes,
And
they do.
and they have keys and they have fob. They can get in if they need to, but they're, lack of a better word, they're lazy sometimes. But I think the reality of it is we just stay as tight locked as we possibly can, and then try to minimize that the best we can.
Thank you.
Now, how interesting is that? Because I'm the opposite. My doors are open from 8 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon during the
Wow.
week. And we only do that because we have staff on site until 4 p.m. most days. And as long as there's a staff in the building, even though they're nowhere near my doors, that's what the door schedule is. And until we have the evening programming, which they become, wide open, we have had in the past somebody take advantage of that and go around and do things that weren't good. The upside to that is I have cameras. The problem with the cameras is it only tells you what happens after the event. It doesn't stop the event from happening. So we just had an issue not long ago with somebody came in during the day, and if you go by, we can't profile, but boy, I'll tell you what, it didn't look good, and you have to make that call sometimes. But the doors are open. They can come anytime. They could come back today. The doors are open right now.
But Scott is in more of a city, right? There's more city type in your area, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're two blocks from campus, but we're basically downtown, in theory, downtown Lubbock, but we have a lot of homeless issues here is really where our issue is. And so that tends to be our biggest issue. But yeah, I mean, as long as I've been here, so I've been here 7 years, but that Dean started that a long time ago. And that's just been how we are currently. All of our staff have access. They all have, they have their fobs and they can all get in however they need to. But we've just tried to, I mean, the biggest issue is you rely on a gal in the front office to make the decision whether that door is going to open or not. So there's still that issue, and she's young, and you could be the nicest person, walk up the door and say you're here to see somebody, and she's going to buzz you in without much of a, so there's still those risks involved, and that's been a problem in the past. But for the most part, that there's been times it's really helped to just keep someone from generally walking in the building.
Well, our front office is always unlocked, like Patrick said. I mean, it is programmed like Hal said, it's programmed, but it's programmed to stay unlocked during business hours. But the school side is a buzz in and always locked, and we have to badge in to get into the school side of the building.
So our whole staff would have to buzz in no matter what building they would need it into. They're all stay locked. And the front office doesn't have an actual door leading to the outside. So you have to come through an actual door, head up some stairs, come down a hallway to even get to the front office. So the office itself is open, but you'd have to get through the main doors first, or a set of doors somewhere.
I know we had a conversation in our security team meeting yesterday, kind of talking about that whole idea of wanting to be able to feel welcome, like people can come to the church if they need to, but have that offset, that balance of being secure as well for the people who work there, it, for the staff themselves, for our daycare, things like that. So I know that's a tough question all around, and there's no right answer, right? And we all have different situations, different locations, but thank you all for sharing about yours. So, goodness, I think except for the fact that that Jeff, who's on here, and I'll give him a second to chat if he wants, is asking if everybody's elevators are still going up and down. That was my favorite question of the ones that came in. So,
Yeah, I thought they did some humor.
and the reality for that, Jeff, is that I do have one that is no longer going up and down. So, and we are shutting it down because of the extensive cost related to upgrading it to the newest, latest, and greatest version of itself at one of our campuses. But is there anything specific you'd like to say, Jeff, or that anybody has questions related to elevators today?
No, I just always do a plug to see if I can help anybody within that's part of the organization here, as well as just to put a plug in that I will be at the conference or the convention in June. And so hopefully if y'all are there, you can stop by and say hi, and you can see me not on a video, but in person. But I pop on these just to see if I can help anybody. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can attest to Jeff. I got a troll email about, I want to say 2 years ago from Otis, which is one of my elevators, saying my hydraulic fluid needed to be changed out. Yeah, so Jeff is locally. He's like, I could probably throw a rock and hit Jeff from where I'm sitting right now. But I called him out, and he looked at my hydraulic fluid for my Otis elevator and basically told me, you're probably going to get 50 plus years more out of that, and kind of clued me in on and the bill was like right around $9,000 to change my hydraulic oil out. So those that don't know, that you can have a reference on your elevators, man, reach out to Jeff. He's definitely going to at least probably try to save you the money. So he saved me $9,000, because if I didn't know any better, I might have looked into spending the $9,000 on that. So
Thanks, James. I appreciated that. Yeah. The big thing is elevators. As much as I hate admitting it, most people hate elevator companies and they hate elevator people. And I'm trying to change that by just saying that not everybody in that industry is bad. Yeah, it's expensive as all get out. You're always buying the Lamborghini when you have to replace a part. I get it. But sometimes salespeople just really don't take the extra step at some places and want to sell you something because that's what they're told. That's what they need to push that day of the week. And if James's oil needed to be redone because the viscosity was too low, or it was a milky white color because water got mixed in it, that's a different story. Then I would have said, James, yeah, go to Otis, sign the contract and do what you got to do, because otherwise you're going to tear up seals and everything else within your system. But if it's not necessary, you don't need to do it. And I'm just trying to be a different person in the elevator industry. So I'll answer any question. It's not a plug to try to get your maintenance, try to get repairs. It's just so you all have a person you can call and ask, does this sound right or not? I've helped people out in North Carolina. I've helped people in South Carolina. And I don't do personal elevator business there. I just walked them through it and reviewed some of their contracts because they felt that it just didn't seem right. So that's just the service I want to bring to this organization and to the community.
We are grateful for you for that, Jeffrey. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Of course.
I got an elevator question.
All right.
Perfect.
I had an audit with the Duke Power contractor yesterday about energy, and they were wanting to put in like sensors or motion sensor lighting where feasible. And we talked about vent fans. And so the elevator mechanical closet for mine has a vent fan. And this elevator mechanical closet has it's a hydraulic elevator, single post. And that will run in cold weather to warm the oil and have the oil at a certain temperature. And that room sort of gives off a smell, hydraulic smell, and you can put some heat off. But there was some sort of code requirement to have a vent fan for that closet. And so for many years, it was just on a switch. I think when you turn the lights on, the fan came on. And I have put that on a temperature sensor and put the temperature sensor up in the highest point in that closet so that if the room gets a little bit warm, then that vent fan will come on and pull air. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So, Chris, apologize. Where are you located at?
I'm in North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay. So North Carolina, I don't know what version of the ASME A17.1 elevator code you're following. In Texas, we follow the 2016 code. There is a 2022 code. There's also going to be the 2024 code got played with, so that's going to probably be issued in 2025. But I have never in all the years heard that a vent fan is required. What's required in machine rooms is to have a vent. Now, if you're in a very hot climate and you have a newer controller that has printed circuit boards in it, if you don't keep that machine room between 55 and 85 degrees, those boards are going to start flaking out on you. And then you get costly because those boards are it's really expensive to replace those boards. But you need some type of system to have the air control, meaning you can't have a solid machine room door and no vent anywhere in the room because you have to be able to have airflow going in and out. But I've never seen the code requirement, unless it's in the newest version, stating that you need a vent fan. I've never seen that. With regards to, since you have a vent fan, I think as long as you can control the temperature and keep it within that range, you're good to go. Some of the other things elevator companies, they try to do, if the facility can't install an AC unit or a fan or something to blow the air out of the room, is to go for what we call hydraulic oil coolers or hydraulic oil heaters. It's weird. I just installed a heater down in Houston because of the few months that it gets unbelievably cold down there. Their elevator wasn't working, or the floors, it wasn't being level with the floors, which was causing a tripping hazard. The only way to do that is to either run that elevator multiple times first thing in the morning to warm it up, or put an oil heater in there. So as long as you have it controlled, I'm good. But again, I have not seen the code about a fan requirement, as long as you can get an airflow going through. So I hope that helps, Chris.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Of course.
Can we put a Willy Wonka elevator in my office, please?
I've always told my family that once that elevator comes out, I'm going through the glass roof and I'm done. It's over.
I don't touch that button. Don't touch that. I'm the first one to push that button. So
That's right.
Lovely. All right. Does anybody have any other questions? Not elevator specific or non-elevator specific. Anything else you'd like to throw out to everybody and get some feedback on? All right, y'all are quiet today.
How about North Carolina pine tree pollen? How do you deal with that?
you don't send it to Georgia.
I'll tell you how you deal with that. You move out of North Carolina.
Yeah.
Don't move to Georgia. We got plenty of it.
Stay inside.
What's the
It is so bad here in Florida right now. The last 2 days, my car, I've come out after the day of work and it's been completely covered. So,
Only in 2 days? It's been like 2 weeks at least here.
well, it's specific to the colors, to the heavy amount of it right now. It's been off and on. The weather's been fluctuating quite a bit here, so. All righty. Well, Mr. Howell, would you like to give an update on how, or James, or both of you, on how CP went over the last week? We had a whole group of people who were doing CP training. So, have any feedback or want to tell us how that went?
Go ahead, James.
Oh, gee, thanks. I'm exhausted. I'm extremely exhausted driving these people around and having people like Brad complain about my driving and hitting all the bumps that I could. Just wore me out. I'm just like, oh, you mean the educational piece?
Yeah. Although I did hear about the driving, I just want you to know I did in fact hear about that.
Well, one of them, I did it on purpose, and Brad, I think, almost hit his head on the ceiling because I hit this bump that was more of a dip or whatever, and he went, when we were kids, we loved that stuff, right? You sat right on the wheel of the bus, so that way you'd go flying in the air. But Brad, reaching the age of 50, he doesn't like it as much. So no. Man, I'll be honest with you, it was a great group of we had one female and the rest were guys, so we had a great group. You know, asked tons of questions, just seemed like they're really involved there. Brad could probably tell you a little bit more about what he thought about the speakers, and how knowledgeable they were. Between Hal and I, we definitely tried to make sure we bring in the speakers that can follow the syllabus correctly, try not to make it a sales pitch, and we had some obstacles. I'll be honest with you, I messed up big time. So I accidentally sent the same syllabus to two separate vendors. So we had two separate vendors talk about HVAC back to back, but it also gave the class a perspective of that category and how one person viewed that versus the other. And then the first guy was, from what they told me, was not as lively, where the second group was really lively, or the second group was really lively. So getting to see that was pretty cool. Then we got to go to AT&T Stadium, do a tour there. So I think that was a pretty good hit. And then we built relationships with vendors. So they took us out to a couple of places like Twisted Root, Papacitas. So all in all, I think it was a smashing week. I mean, so.
Great.
I just want to take a second to chime in and say James did an awesome job. The content was great. The stadium tour was great. The food was great. So good job, James.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Ryan.
I can imagine you are tired. You were going nonstop that week.
Appreciate that. Thanks, Ryan.
And we know that you purposely hit the Grand Canyon pothole 3 different times. So my neck and my back, thank you for that.
Well, I had to keep, the week kind of, eventful.
Had to keep it interesting. Had to keep it interesting.
Look, I'm blaming Danny's van, all right?
It had nothing to do with your driving.
Absolutely not.
Can I nominate you to drive during conference, please?
Absolutely not.
You don't want that. You don't want that in your life.
I am done driving.
Awesome.
I really don't like you people. That's the deal, okay? No.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. I know that both you and Hal put a lot of hard work into that, and we're grateful the way that you feed into our facility managers, and that's invaluable, and we appreciate it. So I'm hopeful. I can't wait to see y'all at conference and to see the new CPs to get your certification, take your test, get your certification. That's going to be really exciting. That's awesome. Anything else, any prayer requests or praise reports that anybody would like to throw out to the group while we're all here? All right. We have picked, let Aaron talk about the date for the next roundtable, but right now the expectation is that we're going to be talking about purchasing groups. Ministry Resources is one of our partners, and there's various different purchasing groups out and about in the marketplace that churches can take advantage of to get discounted pricing. But I know that some people have had good experiences and not so great experiences with them. So we're going to talk about the pros and the cons of purchasing groups. That's how we'll kick it off the next time. That's what we kind of have. I do have a couple of other ideas for topics for the next couple of sessions later after the year after conference, but we certainly are here for you all, for the membership and what you want to talk about and what you want to learn about. So if there's something specific that you are interested in, please don't hesitate to reach out and let us know so that we can make sure that we're bringing value to you. This is time that you take out of your schedule to sit here and to get to know each other a little bit better, to run ideas off of each other, to get feedback from each other. And we want to make sure that it is time that's well worth it for you. So if there's a way that we can do that we can benefit, please let us know so that we can make the best use of the time. So Miss Erin, when are we getting together again?
It'll be Thursday, May 15th, 2 o'clock again, EST. So save the date, and we'll be putting out information on the website about that shortly.
Awesome. And of course, conference is coming up. So you're seeing a lot of information about that. We're really excited. The board has been working quite heavily on all of the things related to the 30th year. So not only is it a typical conference for us, but we're trying to just add a little extra special because of the significant milestone that we're hitting this year. And we're so excited about it. There's all kinds of fun things going on. Going to go to the stockyards, get some great barbecue, have a great time in Texas. So I hope you are planning to join us. It's really important to make sure that if you have not already reserved your hotel room, that you do that. And because we want to make sure that that block gets used and that there's enough rooms at the special pricing. So I highly recommend, you don't have to pay for that right now, but go in and at least reserve it. There is a deadline at which time it becomes permanent, but reserve it now. You don't have to pay for it right now. So and I'm not going to hesitate to say that if for any reason there is a reason, if finances are a reason that you are not able to come to conference, whether it be the conference cost or the hotel cost, please reach out to somebody on the board. We have scholarships available. We want to be able to use them. It is money that is specifically earmarked for that. We want as many people as possible to be able to come to the conference. We believe in the value of strengthening relationships, getting to know each other better, the learning opportunities. But the learning opportunities, we all have different ways of being able to do that. But really being able to get together and build relationships and get to know each other better, that's invaluable. So I hope that if there's anything, if any reason finances are keeping you from it, please reach out and see how we can help you. So and because we know not every church's budget has that. So we want to be able to make it worth it and make it available to you. Does anybody on the board have anything else that they would like to add before we close today? Awesome.
Quick
Goodness,
question.
y'all are way too quiet. Yes, Patrick.
How many people do we have signed up for a conference? I'm just curious.
I believe we have about 68 right now.
I'm just curious. I
Which
hit Tennessee, but I didn't hit last year, so I was just in comparison.
There's still room, plenty of room for more.
Yeah, there's
Coming
still
this
plenty
year?
for more. Excuse me?
You coming this year, Patrick?
I am. Yep. I just need to finalize a few things, but yes, I've been approved for the most part.
Yay. Awesome. We actually have more signed up this year than we typically have this time of year, which is really great. So, so the other part of that is please make sure if you know of another facility manager, some other people at other churches that could benefit from it that may or may not know about NACFM, or you can send the information out, share it. We want people to know about it. We would love to see We would love to see a lot of people there, but we would love to see 150. That's kind of like our number right at the moment. That's like our push number of going, hey, it would be really amazing if we have 150 people. And if you have an opportunity for your spouse to join you, we've got a really amazing day scheduled, not just a period of time for spouses, but an entire day scheduled for spouses to be a part and families to be a part of the event. So we really, really are hoping that this is a family thing as well, if that is something that is available to you. So, and time allows. All righty then. Mr. Leaf, would you close us in a word of prayer?
Lord, we thank you for just being able to get together and just to hear from experts and the seating, and just to help each other grow in our abilities, and just to keep our facilities serving you. Thank you for the brothers and sisters here, Lord. I just pray that you bless them in their week ahead and the weekend as we look forward to gathering at our churches to worship you. And just thank you for the NACFM and just how it supports FMs across the country. In Jesus' name, amen.
Have a blessed Easter season, everybody. Let's talk
Thank
to
you
you
all.
soon.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye.